This is the next episode for Data Shark. Today with Miki Lumnitz, CIO for IAI. Thanks for coming to the show, Miki.
Hi, Omri. Great to be here.
Awesome. So maybe start by telling us a little bit about your background. How did you end up with this mess of being the CIO for IAI, one of Israel's largest industrial companies?
So yes, IAI is the biggest aerospace and defense company in Israel. We employ around 1,500 employees.
15,000.
15,000,
Yes.
Sorry. 15,000 employees, around above basically $5 billion revenues yearly. And
That's a massive corporation.
yeah, and it's great to be a part of it. So I'm living in Herzliya now, married, two beautiful daughters. My second period in IAI. I was in ELTA, one of the subsidiaries of IAI, for 6 years, managing there the product lifecycle management initiative and all the configuration management. Then I was responsible for the product in Dassault Systems, and then 2 years in a startup called Artisan, and then back to IAI.
And you have a technical background? Do you come from technical background?
I came before that from the Army. Spent something like 10 years in the Army. Basically left the Army a major. And so I didn't have much of a technical background before that. But the big project in ELTA, and then the role in Dassault Systems and the Artisan. And when I joined back into IAI in 2011, basically I built up the BI division in the IT organization. The IT organization of IAI called ITC. So I was managing the BI division. We have some knowledge from back then.
We do.
Yeah. And
We'll talk about it.
Okay. And for the past 2 years, I'm the CIO of IAI.
So IAI, as you mentioned, is a very big government organization working in aerospace and security, doing lots of confidential projects. It's also quite a data-driven organization, which you just mentioned about the organization that was kind of your baby. That's how we got to know each other. And I think your experience in building data assets and turning organization that is quite traditional, doing sometimes thousands of projects on annual basis, turning them into a data-driven company. And you've built some amazing assets around BI, around analytics. And I would like to start there. When you started kind of dreaming up where IAI should be as an organization when it comes to data and data analytics, I think the organization was quite in its early phase of leveraging the data assets that were part of the organization, and you brought in quite an extensive vision that took some time for the organization to adopt. What did you have in your mind?
I think, first of all, it was more than 10 years ago, right? So
and it was quite a courageous move back then. I mean, 10 years ago, it wasn't. Not many organizations leveraged BI or analytics the way you started to do.
I think that also 10 years ago, I think in IAI, it was very clear that it's all about the data, right? It's all about
As
the
we
data.
all know.
Yeah. So it's all about the data and what you're doing with the data, and it's basically if you know how to leverage that, it will give you an advantage in the market. I think we are. I'll talk about the
The
past 10
journey.
years, but I think we are now in a leap. Okay, in IAI, in ITC, basically we put in place in the past year a new IT strategy, and part of that is basically a new data architecture that is looking for the basically new edge, which is AI, obviously. We had a meeting earlier about some generative AI initiative we're doing now in IAI, and my AI team leader basically said in the presentation that everybody are using the AI terms right now, right?
It's in every presentation.
Yeah. So if you have some, let's say, common algorithm, some common regression, okay, it suddenly became AI, right?
Yes.
And if you look at all the products in the market, they are all AI included. So it's a little bit, abused to the term, right? But I think it's very clear that something has happened, and it's very clear where the future goes. And for doing AI, you need data. You need a lot of data, and you need to organize the data. And that's why basically we're now shifting and looking at that not from a BI perspective, but from a data solution perspective. But I guess we'll come back to that.
We'll definitely talk about some of the very, very interesting and unique use cases that you built in IAI. But tapping on what you just said about the data assets that are required in order to build an AI first organization. So you're going through a data transformation, basically moving maybe from EDWs, from enterprise data warehouses, to data lakes.
Yeah.
What kind of a journey is that? And you have cloud versus on-premise, maybe challenges. You don't necessarily want to move all into the cloud. You have restrictions given the space you're in.
Yeah.
So when you think about the data that IAI basically collected and aggregated over the decades of existence, and you want to migrate it into a data lake, what are the considerations? Where do you want to take it?
I think when we started the journey, something like 10 years ago, the big issue was the islands of data, okay? And you want, the term from back then was a single version of the truth, right?
Yes.
So this was the aim, okay? To have a single version of the truth, to make sure all the architecture is speaking together, that in the end, you get, a BI product, a BI dashboard for the user that is friendly, that can give him the what he need in a very, very
Intuitive, consumable way.
Yeah, intuitive way, and that all the way that the data is doing, is structured and understood, and every part of the way is managed. I think that was the big challenge, okay, to connect everything. But most of the data that we were working on, in those 10 years, are operational data, financial data, maybe a little bit engineering data. And now we are on I think on a start of a breakthrough, because you're talking about OT, which is a different game. Documents, unstructured data, looking at helping the business projects and not just the operational level of IAI. So you're talking about massive massive amount of data, some structures, some unstructured, and you want to have all the architecture to be able to manage the data lake with all the layers, to manage the transformation inside the architecture, transformation of the data, the catalog of the data, the governance of the data, and obviously to enable all the AI capabilities to have the data available to whatever need you want to use it.
So we're basically talking about silos of implementations. You had islands of data all over the place. We're talking about size. We're talking about location. We're talking about one or single version of the truth. We're talking about governance. We're talking about type of data, structured, unstructured, which is quite a complicated setup from a data perspective. And now you want to put AI on top of all of that. Thinking about your own kind of data organization, you have quite a unique organization, team leaders, expertise. If I'm listening to Miki's experience and the setup at IAI, how can I think about building an organization that owns the data and eventually the BI side of it?
I think if you want to build, an expert BI team, it's like, every. I once said, somebody asked me, what do you need to be a good manager? Okay, and I gave him a very simple answer. The only thing you need in order to be a good manager, okay, or maybe an excellent manager, is to recruit good people. Okay, if you have...
That's an excellent advice.
Yeah. So basically, this is what you need, right?
Yes, true.
You need...
I definitely try to recruit people that are smarter, more capable than I am.
Exactly.
All I need to do is make decisions.
Exactly. So you need good people. I think we have a great data solution team in IAI.
I know them firsthand. They're definitely at top of their game.
Yeah, and it's a lot of experience from 10 years ago to build it step by step, to be professional in what you do, to make sure you have the advantage and you have the skill, because I think even today the business wants to do things by their own. It's true in BI. It's true in other places.
Democratization of data, democratization of insights. Everybody wants everything by themselves.
And in the end, everybody will do what they want unless they understand you have some advantage, or you do that faster, or you do that. You give a better, more usable dashboard and so on, or you do that it's more scale. Okay, so if you have those advantages, you will be able to really do the job.
Understood. So let's talk a little bit about use cases and how you actually took, I think, analytics to the next level. There was a thing called COVID We all feel that it was so long ago, but actually it wasn't that far away. And actually, at the beginning of COVID, there were lots of restrictions on large organizations. As you said, IAI has 15,000 employees, and you had to actually track and monitor everything that goes on in your organization when it comes to COVID. And I once saw the analytics approach you took to kind of controlling and making sure that you have visibility to everything that goes on. Can you share a little bit about the COVID project?
Yeah, I think, IAI was one of the, I think, unique organizations that never stopped working. Okay, a lot of organization basically, froze or just worked from home, and IAI never stopped working for a day. And if you want to continue working in an organization like that, you need to manage that. And I think without what we did in the analytics, IAI would not be able basically to keep on working during the pandemic. I think we
So eventually the
basically
analytics became a mission critical application to make sure that a security organization, a factory, will not stand still during COVID.
Yeah.
Amazing.
From the temperature of each employee, from understanding who is which employee is located where, to pandemic. If you had, for example, employee that was sick, okay, so to understand who was in the same room, who was in the same conference room, who was in the same bus with him, who needs to go to coordinate. And so it really, during that time, analytics allows us to really continue in managing the organization.
Amazing. So basically, you had to assure that you can collect the data around your employees in a way that was also an IoT story, and right, because you're checking location, you were checking where they were next to other people, where they are in the factory, if they tested positive, tested negative, and then building an analytics layer on top of that, so someone can actually manage the number of people that are at the factory and where they are and how.
From managing the data, then all the transfer of the data, all the processes, until in the end you get a dashboard with the single version of the truth, right?
No, listen, it's incredible. So we saw the dashboard, right? We were fortunate to be part of that process, and then we started to talk to other organizations, even municipalities, that didn't have a clue on how to actually organize a group of people. We're talking about thousands of people, and making sure that you can continue to operate as a city, as a company, even as a country. And I think the credit that went to that dashboard was remarkable. So that was quite a phenomenal achievement. So let's go back to AI. We'll talk about another use case in a second. So generative AI is something that you're exploring currently. Can you give us examples on what could be a good generative AI for IAI?
I think if you look at AI in general, there's a lot of use cases that you can use AI. I'm not talking about use cases in our products. This is not for this conversation. But
It's a secret.
yeah, But
You'll have to kill us afterwards if
Yeah.
you share it with us. Okay.
But I'll give you an example, okay? If you have some a production line, okay? And the production line has, I don't know, let's say 55% yield. Yield is basically how much of the products that going through this assembly line, production line, in the end are in high quality that you can actually use in a product, okay? And let's say, you did everything you can with the human mind, okay? And this product line is something like 55% yield, okay? And for example, we did our first AI project in production lines. We took a production line like this. We did the project for 3 months, end to end. And in the end, basically, we had an AI model that was looking at all parts of this production line and would have been able, basically, to improve the yield of this production line from 55% to something like 75%.
Amazing. I think you used an incredible tool to do that. Pyramid analytics.
Yeah, we had basically all the AI models that we use, and we actually, in the end, deliver to the production line basically a dashboard that is live, that basically giving them the results of the AI model that is keep running on the fresh data in all the aspects of basically of the production line. I can give you a few examples. Let's say you have some production machines, okay, some production machines, and they have something like, I don't know, 5 machines, okay? And the AI model basically said that in machine B, you have an issue, it's not working properly, okay? And the people from the production line said, we don't know of any failure, okay? The machine is okay. They went back to the production line, look at the machine, and there was
A problem. Wow.
And they fixed the problem. Just an example, but they actually have now, as we speak, a dashboard live in the production line that is basically keep tracking, keep running basically these AI models behind the scenes and gives you the results. Also, one of the nicest things in this dashboard is that we're using basically smart text. So the dashboard actually telling you, okay, in
simple terms,
in simple words, what he thinks the situation and where he thinks the problem. So it's very nice. This is an example of how you can actually bring value with a very short AI project that
So amazing. So basically, we moved from the era of just data visualization, nice pie charts, to actually operationalize data and data analytics to drive return on investment and improve efficiencies and productivity of an assembly line, which eventually it becomes a mission critical application. If I can actually improve my production, I'm sure nobody's willing to now let go of those kind of solutions that comes from the team. Are there any new initiatives because of that? Is that a success that kind of amplifies across the organization?
I can tell you that before we started this first project, all the discussion was, how much this project will cost. And when we finished that, and when they saw the results, basically, they wanted to get, doing this analysis also for other product
projects.
lines. We are now doing, I would say, similar project to different production lines in IAI. It's not the same project because, every production line has, need its own analysis, its own
It's
AI
unique.
model. It's unique. It's not like a, copy paste, but the infrastructure is something that you basically reuse, and so yeah, this is one usage of AI in in real life, not just in
It's not theoretical.
marketing and
Yes.
theoretical. We're using AI also for different areas. For example, quality. For example, when we work with the suppliers, okay, to predict suppliers' rating. We're using that in cybersecurity. We're using that also in this generative AI project I spoke about. We're using that now basically also for co-piloting code development, which is available in the cloud, but not available in our
On-premise environment.
Yes.
Yes. Off the grid security.
Yeah.
No, that makes. Listen. First of all, it's amazing. When you kind of think about security organizations, some people will probably think about an old-fashioned approach. It's a factory, and you guys are doing cutting-edge AI utilization, which is mind-blowing. The fact that actually there is a generative AI that tells the factory what's going on with the machines and can improve the productivity from 55 to 75%. It's a massive return on investment, regardless of how much it costs to implement this AI project. So honestly, this is unbelievable. This is really, it's incredible. So back to the team, because I think eventually, as you said, it's all about people and it's all about the quality of the team. Do you think that we will need to make sure that people catch up from a skill set perspective, from experience, from education on machine learning and building AI? Is that going to be the major part of your organization, of your data organization?
I think it's very hard to predict the future. But I think basically there is not everybody can be a data scientist, okay? And you don't need everybody.
I definitely cannot be a data scientist.
Yeah, me also. I'm looking at the data scientists working in my AI team, and it's always amazing to listen to them and to see them work. But not everybody needs to be a data scientist. But I think the data architecture has a huge impact, because if you don't have data, you don't have AI. Okay?
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
You need to have all the data. You need to have connectivity of the data. I'll give you an example. Also in this project we talked about, think that you take all the data from all the SCADA, from the OT, from the production machines. You connect that with the SAP data, which is the operational data, which is totally structured, and it's not big data. It's a regular operational data, BI that we're using. But when you connect that together, you can get insights with AI that you cannot get otherwise. I'll give you an example. another part that this dashboard give them is, for example, is looking at the products that are now in the line, actually in real time, and the AI basically telling them this product, okay, this specific product has similar characteristic to a product that was disqualified from a quality notice. For example, in SAP has the same characteristics with the specific reason. So, for example, this is one of the cases when you connect the data and everything is connected the data, you get, you amplified basically the power of AI.
Amazing. So basically, you were able to draw analysis using existing data that before you made those joints, it was impossible to actually know, and you may repeat the same anomalies, the same mistakes in your production lines before that.
I think when you look at how, if you ask me, for example, how a BI team in the near future, okay, needs to be built. So I think there will be a team that needs to manage the data lake. We are basically building our data lake in 3 layers, like bronze, silver, and gold. Okay, so at least I think the bronze and silver layers. This is the team that will basically manage the data lake, how you enter, how you control the data, how you govern the data, managing the data lake. A team that is basically, I think, is similar to what we called BI teams before. That will do basically, let's call it data apps. Okay, on top of this data, maybe we'll be responsible for the gold layer, which is basically, the KPIs and all the really, connectivity, the dashboards, if you really want the BI team to do that and you don't want to do that, by the business user. And the third team will be the AI, the data scientists, that will basically put their tools and know-how on top of this architecture, and using, basically will do those, AI models. The data apps guys or girls will do the app that basically utilizing this UI model, and I think this is how it's basically structured.
So basically what you're saying is that we're at the beginning of a new era in data analytics, right? We started with just data and collecting data, aggregating data, maybe cleaning and fixing and making it available.
Mainly operational and financial data, okay? Which is basically small part of the really available data.
Right. And connecting it to basically the production lines makes it now, or take it to the next level, putting AI on top of that, would allow organizations to actually drive their business much faster, smarter, better when it comes to manufacturing of products.
Yeah.
Well, amazing. Miki, thank you so much for taking time to share with us those insights. I think that maybe to wrap it up, and I think it's kind of clear that we all believe that the future is around maybe automation. I don't know if just AI and just generative AI, but lots of automation.
Yeah.
What's and I know it's a big subject, but if you can tell us a little bit about kind of the vision for the future around leveraging the data assets that are part of your organization?
I think there are a few things that we know. We know when we understand that we don't know shit, okay, about what's coming. And I think it means you have to be flexible, okay? You have to build your architecture in a way that when technology change and when there's a shift, it's easy to adopt it, okay? I think this is one of the lessons for our times, because in past times you build a data architecture, it stays with you 10 years, 20 years. It's not going to be the case in the future, so you need to be flexible. I think the usability, the UX, the user experience side is crucial. I think it was crucial all the time, but I think mostly today, because there's no people have no patience, right? They want the results. They want to understand that. They don't want any implementation, any they don't need somebody to explain to them how to read the data. If they don't understand it, they
ignore
will
it.
move. Yeah,
Yes.
they will move to the next thing. So this is another thing that I think is crucial, and it's worthwhile investing in. For sure, it will be interesting.
Oh my
right?
goodness. It is already interesting, and it's going to be even more
Yeah.
crazy. Miki, thank you very much.
Welcome. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, it was amazing. Thank you so much.